So the United States is apparently finally back, man. We're finally back to doing what we do best, and it's not a good thing whatsoever. It's not a good thing whatsoever. This is actually the first known military action taken under the Biden administration, from what I've been reading, and it just once again kind of fuels, I guess, this sentiment that has been kind of growing in the United States of why are we still in the Middle East? Now, if you don't know, the United States, pretty much for my entire life now at this point, has been waging war in the Middle East that, to this point, has provided pretty much nothing, no benefit whatsoever to the United States. Maybe we got some oil out of it, maybe we got some, I guess, diplomatic positioning out of it, or we got to, pressure other countries by thinking that we were doing all this stuff in the Middle East or whatnot, but it hasn't provided any solid impact. We haven't ended terrorism. We haven't even ended terrorism in just the Middle East. In fact, it's more or less been kind of a growing threat as these wars have continued. And the only people I think who've made any money or seen their lives get better from this are the people running the military-industrial complex, the high-up generals, people who've invested into Lockheed Martin or Raytheon. The average American hasn't seen their life get any better from this, and obviously Biden is just now crossing the 1 month mark, right? He just got into office, just got inaugurated last month. Yeah, hooray, right? I think at the time a lot of people figured that this was going to be a big change for America, but if you know anything about politicians, that was the last thing you really should have ever expected from any politician, honestly, in the United States, I think. The United States military says that it carried out attacks on facilities in eastern Syria used by Iran-backed militia on Thursday following recent rocket attacks on U.S. troop locations in Iraq. At President Biden's direction, U.S. military forces earlier this evening conducted airstrikes against infrastructure utilized by Iranian-backed militant groups in eastern Syria, Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby said in a statement. These strikes were authorized in response to recent attacks against American and coalition personnel in Iraq and to ongoing threats to those personnel, he said. According to the Pentagon, U.S. fighter jets dropped 7 500-pound joint direct attack munition-guided precision bombs hitting 7 targets, which includes a crossing used by the armed groups to move weapons across the border. Kirby said the strikes destroyed multiple facilities at a border control point used by a number of Iranian-backed militant groups, including Kataib Hezbollah, I believe is how you say that, and Kataib Saeed al-Shuhada. An Iraqi militia official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said that at least 1 fighter had been killed and 4 others were wounded. A medical source at a hospital in the area said that several local sources also told Reuters 17 people had been killed. That toll could not be independently confirmed. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights told AFP that at least 22 fighters were killed when the strike hit 3 trucks loaded with munitions coming from Iraq near the Syrian border. Militia border posts were also destroyed, the War Monitor said. So a lot of people are going to hear that. They're going to hear what the Pentagon said, and they're going to be like, oh, it was a good thing. They deserved that. They deserved the bombing and everything because all of these attacks that have been happening against American troops in Iraq. Well, my simple counter to that is, why are we still in Iraq, right? Why are we still in these countries? Why do we still have soldiers in Afghanistan? Why do we still have people in Iraq? Why are we bombing Syria? None of these countries, being there is providing us any benefit, right? Nothing. People keep saying things like, oh, they prevent Iran from doing anything crazy. First and foremost, Iran is not going to declare war on the United States. It's not going to happen. No country on earth is going to invade the U.S. It's literally suicide for virtually any country on the planet to declare war against the United States. It's the dumbest thing you could do. If Iran was going to declare war on the U.S., wouldn't they have done it after we literally took their boy out, right? We literally airstriked an airport and killed pretty much their top military official. We openly said that we did it, and then guess what happened? Did Iran declare war? No. Did you see Iranian soldiers, in the port of Miami? No. I wonder why that is. Okay, so now that we've kind of established that that's pretty much unlikely, if not just virtually impossible, why are we still in the Middle East? Well, a pretty big reason why we're there in the first place is because of 9/11, right? 3,000 Americans were killed on September 11th, right? And it was a very tragic event. It changed the entire future of the world, in all reality here. But it's been 20 years, right, since that happened this year. In September, it'll be 20 years since 9/11 happened. And what exactly have we done? Well, we haven't eradicated terrorism. As a matter of fact, there's a shit ton of terrorist groups right now fighting for control of vast areas of the Middle East. We haven't built very structurally sound democratic governments in these countries, which is something that the United States has historically used as a clause to launch coups d'etats or to invade foreign countries. They don't have very solid government structures. In fact, we kind of destroyed Iraq's government in all reality. Thousands upon thousands of Americans have been killed, right, in these wars, in these conflicts. In fact, apparently the whole reasoning that this airstrike was carried out was because of multiple rocket attacks against American troops, right? Well, let's think about this, right? If those soldiers were no longer there, right, I don't think that would have even happened, right? If we still weren't in the Middle East dicking around, wasting taxpayer money on these fruitless fucking wars that solve zero conflict, there would have been no American soldiers for them to even attempt a rocket attack. This wouldn't even be a situation that we'd have to worry about. And imagine all the cool shit that we could be doing in the United States with the money that's being funneled into these stupid fucking wars. The majority of the money goes to the military in the United States. We put an exorbitant amount of money into the military, but yet people were actually upset that NASA got the funding to put Perseverance on Mars, right? The new drone, or not drone, the new robot, right? I guess you could call it a drone if you want to. The new rover that we put on Mars just a few days ago, right? That will be searching for ancient signs of microscopic life and will help determine how we approach our plan to colonize Mars in the future and everything. That cost, according to NASA, over its entire lifetime, $2.7 billion with a B dollars. That is a lot of money, right? You know, to the average person, that's a shit ton. But then when you consider the fact that the US military gets hundreds of billions of dollars every single year to do this shit, to literally just to do this, you start to wonder, right? Like, if we were actually, like, adequately funding programs like NASA, where could we be, right? Like, what would fucking happen? Imagine if NASA from, you know, the space landing, the moon landing and everything, until now was adequately funded. Imagine the shit that we could have done in space by now. We probably would already be on Mars. We probably already would have a colony established on both the moon and Mars. We would be looking at probably going to other planets, you know, expanding humanity beyond just the fucking Earth. Or imagine if, like, we were actually, you know, building an adequate medical system in the United States, right? Where people didn't have to fucking choose between insulin or rent for the month. You know, choose between literally fucking dying or rent for the month. Imagine if that money went towards clean energy, which is widely considered the future, considering we literally only have a few years before the consequences of climate change are pretty much irreversible altogether. Imagine if we were actually funding the idea of a high-speed rail system across the country, like pretty much all of Europe and Japan and these other places have, right? Imagine being able to cut the distance of a trip from like LA to New York down to like a third of what it is. And where I live, you know, when you're driving under the interstate bridges and shit, you can literally see the framework of the road that's going above you because all of it is fucking falling apart and it hasn't been rebuilt or updated in 45 years. But thankfully, we're blowing shit up in the Middle East again. Thankfully, we're bombing Syria for whatever fucking reason, right? Like, it's insane to me. Like, the mentality and the justification behind it is insane to me. Because it makes sense for literally no reason to do things like this other than ones that America created. Well, they're attacking us. We're there still. We've been occupying the fucking countries in the Middle East for 2 decades now. People are kind of sick and tired of it. They're fighting back. All it's doing is literally endangering the lives of Americans who honestly don't deserve it. Because in all reality, right, when you think about it, the people on the ground, right, who signed up for the military out of high school and shit, they're not the problem. Those aren't the people that should be chastised for this. It's not their fault that they got deployed to fucking Iraq or whatever, right, to sit there and have to endure rocket attacks because they didn't have, you know, other opportunities in life or they wanted to satisfy their family heritage or like whatever's going on with that, right? It's not really fair and logical to keep putting their lives in danger when we're getting nothing out of it. We're not doing anything by doing any of this. And this isn't even a political thing. Like, I'm genuinely not understanding why now through 5 presidencies that I've lived through, we continuously see from both sides of the political aisle here in the United States the love for fucking war and bloodshed. Clinton carried out airstrikes, Bush carried out airstrikes, Obama carried them out, Trump carried them out, and now Biden's carrying them out. It never changes. It doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican in office. Democrats, I think, are really good at hiding how much they love war, and I think that's the truth. This might be the most political I've ever been on my channel, but Democrats really love hiding how much they love war. Go ahead and look up the politicians on the left that are still in service. Find out how many of them opposed the Iraq War, opposed the Patriot Act, oppose the ludicrous military funding that we put together. See how many of them oppose that. The answer is not many of them. So it has nothing to do with anything partisan here. It's just a thing that the United States government has been doing for a long time now, and it's continuing. And the reaction, I think, is even more fucking absurd than that. Take a look at this right here, folks. So different having military action under Biden. No middle school level threats on Twitter. Trust Biden and his team's competence. Such a quiet attack. No drama, no TV coverage of bombs hitting targets, no comments on how presidential Biden is. What a difference. Oh, it was such a quiet bombing of that place. 22 possibly or whatever people died. No drama with it, man. I didn't have to turn on the news and see people in a country 7,000 miles away getting fucking blown up and killed by American war machines. It was such a nice change. It was such a great difference. No middle school level threats on Twitter, just literally fucking killing people with airstrikes, right? So different having military action under Biden. How's it any different than any of these other presidents have been doing for 2 decades now? The only difference is he didn't tweet it out like the last president would have. I'm going to be honest with you here as somebody who vehemently opposes continuing this stupid shit in the Middle East. I would rather Trump come on Twitter and fucking, yell about it and make a big scene about it so everyone can be aware about what's happening than for Biden to try and sneak this shit by, right? To try and hide the fact that he did it. They both did it, so they're both in the wrong, right? If it's wrong for Trump to do it, it's also wrong for Biden to do it. Or are you just afraid to just come out and say, hey, I don't give a fuck if kids in the Middle East are getting blown up by airstrikes, as long as the person who did it, who authorized it, has either an R or a D by their name. That's what it comes down to. Nobody in America, right, gives a fuck about this. That's what's insane to me. Because if it wasn't happening, not only could your life be a lot better, but people in the Middle East's lives could be a lot better. But because Biden did it, yes, Biden, oh my god, not Trump did it, apparently it's supposed to be okay. It's fucking dumb, man. I know this video is probably going to get a bad reaction. I really don't care. This is how I feel. If you don't agree with it, I really don't care. If you do agree with it, I also really don't care. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, not wanting to blow the Middle East up, and signing out. You've seen cool stuff in your life before, but you've never seen cool shit like this. Introducing Horser. Are we sure what it is? Not really, but is it interesting? Absolutely. Optimus, what do all these luxury cars and videos of horses and nature have to do with Horser? They're specially crafted in that order to make you want to buy shit. To make you think to yourself, oh, this Horser brand represents luxury and wealth and nature, and I need that. So fulfill the advertisement's role and go buy it. Horser. Keep it on you, or some shit like that.